Hello and welcome to the Villa Park podcast. It is Rich and Kev back for a match review. And Kev, a match review, Everton 0, Aston Villa 2, that we were there.
We were there, mate. We were there in attendance, weren't we?
Yeah, and there's a certain picture going around social media
There is.
with me getting a certain badge involved. But yeah, great atmosphere in the away end, wasn't it?
It was absolutely brilliant. And I can't believe I've seen us win in the third kit.
Yeah, one in the third kit.
Yeah.
We'll get into a little bit more in terms of the performance, but I think it's 4 wins out of 5 away from home. So
Right.
things in terms of the way that we're set up, and we talked about this before about kind of Emery. He's very good at coaching for specific games and specific tactics, and it seems to be bearing that way away from home in particular.
It's absolutely brilliant, isn't it? I mean, 12 points out of 15 on the road. The only blemish on that record is Manchester City, the best team in the league for the last 5-6 years. It's unbelievable, really, isn't it? I mean, that level of performance, it's hard to win away from home against teams that are languishing in the bottom of the league. So we've won we beat Tottenham, clearly a good team, pushing the top 4. Brighton, who've had a right season. Southampton, who were on the back of, I think, 2 or 3 wins in a row when we played them. So towels are up. And Everton had won their last 2 home games under the Dyche Revolution. So all of them just really, really good performances good results, not necessarily good performances. But how many times have we in the past done that and not got even 1 point out of the game?
Yeah, exactly. And it was. I mean, we've commented today and over the last couple of days was that how without being too disparaging, but how poor Everton were. Sorry, and also kind of other teams have done this to us in the past, but we didn't really have to get out a second or third gear to get the game won.
No, I mean, I did say before the podcast, I hope it wasn't going to come back to haunt me, but I thought Everton were one of the poorest sides I've seen this season, and I maintain that. They've got absolutely nothing. I mean, there was a really crazy situation where the ball come off Ezri Konsa's rear and went back into play, and then somehow it didn't go in. But other than that, I think there was a header, wasn't there? That was a good save.
Yeah.
But other than that, and they're the home team. They're the ones supposed to press. They kept a bit of the ball, but they didn't really do anything with it. McNeil had a few crosses first half, but I thought Cash dealt with them actually pretty well and justified his selection. But they've got absolutely nothing, Everton. I don't know what Dyche was thinking. And 2, I don't think they're going to stay up. I just think they've got nothing. I mean, you're bringing off the bench as an Everton team, with all respect to these players, but you're bringing off Tom Davies, bringing off the young lad, Ellis Sims. And then Damari Gray, who's won games in 10 performs, and that's what you're trying to win the game. Whereas we bring off Emi Martinez, who does actually win the game for us.
Yeah, well, we'll come on to the goals and some of the performances in a little while, but yeah, I mean, it was a weird one because I think watching some of the, looking at Everton previously in the previous games, obviously they'd won 2 out of those 3. And given a reasonable account of themselves against Liverpool, obviously won their 2 games, they'd won 1-0. But just looking at the way that they approached this game, I was expecting, a hostile atmosphere. I was expecting, Everton to be right at us, a Sean Dyche team as well, kind of putting it on us, hitting it long, winning second balls. And I've spoke to a few Everton fans on the way home from the game on Saturday, and also heard some of their podcasts, and they kind of thought that they reverted back to what they were like under Lampard, under the previous regime, and sort of went down with a whimper almost.
Yeah, look, they're just not very good, and I say that as someone who I like Everton. I think the real rich history of a club. The most played fixture in top flight football, obviously, is maybe even English football is Villa Everton. So I've got absolutely no issue with Everton. There's a few teams I probably don't like as much, but Everton, I think, have always been a really, really established Premier League team, established top flight team for 60, 70 years, whatever it is. And but it's a damning indictment of what they've done over the last few years. The money that they've spent under different managers, the vanity of the Ancelotti management when obviously he left after a season. Lots of players spent on lots of money, and now they're in a situation where they've just not got a very good squad, and they're going to really need some big performances, some players in that team that haven't done much for a period of time. They've got some good players. They've got they've got a Tarkovsky and Cody at the back. I think Onana's a really, really bright prospect, but I don't look like they can score goals. And that in this league is everything. All the teams at the bottom that are struggling are the ones look like they can't score goals. And one of them at the weekend who have been in that situation, West Ham, took one of our strikers and obviously it helped them. Wolves are struggling to score goals, but
they are again. Yeah, they are.
Southampton are struggling to score goals. That's why they're down there. Bournemouth, it's no surprise. And Everton they've got nothing up top. Nothing.
Banging trouble. And to think we wanted Neil Maupay at one point.
I know. I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah. But he's really lost form, and he just didn't look like anything, to be honest. But yeah, let's we got the win, and we'll talk about Villa performances. Enough on Everton. Really, we wish them well for the rest of the season. But I think if you continue to keep selling your best players, and you don't replace them with anything of any quality, you know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Plenty of comments coming in. Michael Parsons is in the house. Hi all. Hi Michael. Thanks for joining. Richard Edwards. Yes, lads. 5 in 5. Absolutely. T1. Hello, my people. Hello, T1. Thanks for joining again. Alfie as well. Evening, fellas. Hello, mate. Richard, I've got a question for you. I don't know if we can answer this but why was Conte on the floor?
We were right at the other end, Richard. So and our view was restricted by a basic like a curtain, wasn't it? So, of that goal. So we were right at the other end of the pitch. I don't know. I mean, if anyone could shed some light on this for us, or if anyone's read anything, but him being on the floor but still on the pitch it's like having when you used to play like football as a kid against the wall and you get a rebound and then you'd score.
Yeah.
Well, it was like that. Like he should have been off the pitch. He should have just rolled off the pitch. And I think if he was fouled, unless he's literally about to pass away, he needs to get off the pitch because he's an absolute, he proved, didn't it? That would have been just Villa, wouldn't it? For the ball to have been going wide, bounced off Konza, and then they would have scored. It would have been classic Villa, so lucky.
Brilliant thinking from Tyrone Mings to get himself in position to be able to hook it off the line. But yeah, I mean, I don't know if Konza was maybe moaning, he was kind of remonstrating with the referee after it had finished to say he'd been fouled. I don't know if he'd been pushed to the floor or what, but like you say, it's roll off the pitch, mate, especially if we're in trouble there. So it's a bit of a strange one.
You've got to be savvy there, haven't you? And maybe exactly. You can hit the foul, but
exactly.
What do we say to kids? What do we both say to our kids? Play to the whistle.
Yeah, absolutely. Rachel says, evening all, can't watch tonight, but we'll catch up. Emi is the best. Yeah, we will cover that in a second. That news came out just before we were about to go live. Rich said the Villa fans sounded loud and proud. They were, mate. And again, Kev, we commented on this about Everton's, old style ground, fans close in, and the old seats and all that. But it does give a better atmosphere. I don't know what it is about the old grounds, but they do kind of contain that atmosphere, don't they?
Yeah, I tell you what, I've been at Goodison, maybe my most travelled away ground now. I've been there 3 times, Goodison, and I think it's just it's not in great condition anymore. It's a bit dated, but it's a cracking atmosphere. It really is. As we were walking out, there were some young Everton youth players, 15, 16-year-olds who were with the mums. And as we walked out, a lot of them were smiling. And I remember saying to them, lads, how come you smiling? Like thinking they would have gone, hey, la, whatever. But we're Liverpool. But they were like Man United and Bolton fans. Bless them, these young lads in the youth team. But they said to me, I heard them say to each other, we didn't think I was listening. Those are the best away fans we've had here all season. So yeah. I think it helps when you have, a poor first half and then you score in the second half and obviously your tails are going to be up. But the Villa fans were really loud and proud. It was a fantastic atmosphere. It's just nice, isn't it, to have those kind of experiences on the road, because the only other away game I've been to, I know you've been to a few, was towards the end of the Gerrard reign and at Nottingham Forest.
Yeah. To be honest, though, I think this is the first win I've seen this season away from home. So yeah, it was welcome, definitely very welcome. Guys, if you're watching, please do hit the like button and please do subscribe to the channel. We are obviously over 1,000, which is phenomenal. We're getting close to that 1,020 mark. So if you are new to the channel, please hit that subscribe button. Please do like the video just to help us kind of spread the word of the channel and keep growing as we want to do. So yeah, please don't forget to do that. A couple more comments coming in. Deontay said, hello all, happy for the win and a much needed clean sheet for the best goalkeeper in the world, Emi Martinez. Absolutely. T1 said, Everton were actually riding their luck since Dyche came in against Arsenal. New manager bounce and leads an in a moment goal. Their time just ran out against Villa. Yeah, well, we'll see, because I know they've got Arsenal coming up as well, so I don't think they'll get any points from there. Michael Huggins is in the house. Good evening. Good evening, Michael. Andy said Conser must have been drinking with us guys. I bet he was, yeah. Rod said he was fouled though, and then complained after to the ref. So yeah, we'd have to see that. Yeah, it would have been a typical Villa sloppy goal, which I agree. I think they may have gone to VAR if it had scored. Oh, I hope so. We made it party central. Villa fans were immense. We definitely did, Andy. Definitely, mate. There's two and says, remember to hit the like button as soon as you come in. Thank you very much. And yeah, obviously talking about the top goalkeeper award, when he was called into action in that first half, particularly from that header from Onana, Emi Martinez did his job, mate.
He did, yeah. Obviously, he's been a bit criticised by a few Villa fans, me included. You know, I think a few of us on the pod have been annoyed just at the manner of time wasting so early. And he did his comments, which you can't fault him for. He's just won the World Cup, and now he's officially the best goalie in the world. So he's won that award as well. Why would he not want to, at 30 years old, want to play in the Champions League? It's just understandable. I don't think we can hate him for that. But I think it's obviously the time wasting. But I think one thing that wasn't talked about enough was just the distribution. The distribution he had in the last home game was absolutely horrendous. I think it was 4 or 5 times in one half alone. He kicked the ball out of play. So, you know, maybe Villa fans, when they look at it and think, well, if we sell Emi, we're looking at that because he's probably made it clear that if opportunity comes to go, he'll go. So I don't think you can give Villa fans too much grief for starting to talk about, well, what would happen. You know, you have to at least plan for the future,
Yeah.
even if in your own mind. But he was what we've been used to over the last few seasons. He was super reliable. There was a little bit of shithousery, but not as much. He got his customary yellow card he's got lately.
Yeah, I thought that was a little bit harsh, to be fair, but maybe we weren't really paying that much attention. We were too busy singing, but I didn't really notice too much of that time wasting on Saturday. Certainly not as much as he did against Arsenal.
Yeah, I think probably we were a little bit, 10 sheets to the win, whatever it is. You know, I think we probably couldn't see it as well in the position we were in. But I also think maybe he's got a bit of a reputation. And, you know, just like some players maybe have got a bit of a reputation for being tough tacklers, get a yellow card quicker than someone else might get it. He's got a reputation for messing around a bit with the ball, and maybe the referee wanted to draw a line under it and was a bit harsher than he would have normally been. Yeah. But he didn't have too much to do. I thought he claimed crosses pretty well, and there was obviously one fantastic save. I think Pickford did a similar sort of like save from a header. So both top Premier League keepers, and both did pretty well. Well, for those saves, I think Pickford would be disappointed to be bitten at his near post, of course.
Yeah. Greg joining us, Greg Lowry joining us, said Albin Lafont in if he goes. I don't know if you can enlighten us, mate, on your European knowledge. Please do, where he plays and sort of what his strengths are. That'd be great. Another question, and we'll come on to this player. It seems like a good time, but do you think we should have got a penalty for the challenge on Watkins from Pickford in the first half, says Michael? Now, again, this is right up the other end for us, wasn't it? So it was difficult. But on the highlights, I don't know.
I've seen them given.
Yeah.
I think I've only seen it once, and it might have been a little bit hungover when I watched it. But I've seen them given. You know, so maybe you know he did come out and get. Did he get man first? I don't know. Maybe.
Yeah, a difficult one, but obviously moving on to Watkins as a whole, you know, we've got to mention, you know, a threat for Everton. Threat against Everton seems to be playing with a lot of confidence, and obviously took his penalty really well, straight down the middle, very calm, and gets 5 goals in 5 Premier League games in a row, and first Villa player to do it. And yeah, seems like he's got a new lease of life now. He's kind of the main man.
Yeah, I mean, look, again, he's been someone that's been quite rightfully maligned at times by the Villa fan base and certainly us on this pod. And I think that's because he hasn't been looking like he'll score goals and not been taking his chances. So to score in 5 consecutive Premier League games for anybody is an incredible feat. It really is. And actually, I know he's not. I mean, he's probably not. He's been unlucky to not get the points that would have deserved. It's only garnered 6 points for us, hasn't it? Because obviously we lost 3 of those games, but 6 valuable points. He got the winner in Southampton. And he got the first goal effectively that, Everton, I didn't think we're ever going to get back into it. So, it was the first goal. Also, an absolutely great touch to McGinn for the second goal.
Yeah.
Really laid it off beautifully for McGinn. McGinn of old, driving forward, and then obviously dispatched by Buendia. But I don't think he did. He didn't have too many chances in the game again. But I love the fact that he demanded the ball.
The header that Pickford saved onto the post, and then
other than that
took
one,
his penalty away. So, I just think he was. He just did what he was paid to do. I think he's going into games now kind of almost expecting to score, which is what you want from your striker, don't you? And I'd really like to see him get 2 goals in the game. And I'd really like to see him get a brace, and just get more than 1 goal in the game, just because I think that would kind of put him to that next pushing into that next level. But there's words of kind of potentially being in the next Gareth Southgate England squad and stuff like that. So he can only keep putting the ball in the net, and he seems to be a player who's really blossoming under the Emery sort of coaching and the Emery style. And I have noticed a little bit less of the just running around everywhere and just being more effective in the areas that he should be being more effective in.
Well, that was said earlier in the season, wasn't it? That obviously he had the stats for being the best pressing centre forward in the league. Dean Smith used to really talk about that. He used to wax lyrical about how he was the best pressing forward in the league. But if you're running into a lot of blind alleys and working hard for the team, that's great. But maybe you're using a bit too much of your energy.
Yeah.
So when you are in goal scoring positions, perhaps that calmness isn't there in front of goal, that composure that you need. So I just think he looks way more confident. I mean, look at the goal he scored at Arsenal. It went wide and then he just still unleashed a finish. And even demanding the penalty, I wouldn't have been surprised it had been a few months ago if actually maybe someone else had taken it, Buendia had taken it or someone. But he demanded the ball, didn't he? He wanted the ball, and he absolutely dispatched it. Put his foot through it down the middle, wasn't it? We're looking back, we thought it was top corner.
Yeah, we thought it was right in the top corner, but down the middle. Yeah. So
and you can see he feels confident. I saw his interview after the game. He did a little 5, didn't he, to the fans. It's just great to see, and he's been linked with Arsenal again today. Obviously, he's an Arsenal
fan. Potential contract talks, potentially. Just there's nothing wrong with a little big club link. When you're in goal scoring form to get yourself a new contract. So, especially if Tyrone Mings is getting one, there must be contracts being bandied around. So we'll see. Aaron's back in the house. Yo, long time no see. Blood, yes, man. Europa Conference League is coming for Villa. So, Aaron, unfortunately, my patois is a bit rusty at the moment, so I can't do it in the accent, mate, unfortunately. But Europa Conference League, let's see, we'll see. Michael said we need to be playing in Europe to keep our best players. Absolutely. Andy was a little bit worried at times, again, overplaying and indecisive, playing it from the back. Thank God it was only Everton. I thought we got better with it as the game went on. I've noticed in the first half we were a little bit penned in every now and again, but I thought we got better at it as the game wore on and as Everton kind of, I don't know, sort of just dropped into their shell a little bit. So we seemed to get out more in the second half.
Quite a bit of the ball, didn't they, Everton, but didn't do much with it. And I think it was a bit. I think that game would be difficult for any team going there. Any team, because it was 100 miles an hour. Dyche's got them playing with a bit of heart. They're running around a lot. Closing down spaces, which is, I guess, is at least you can expect it. But it's kind of an anti-football, isn't it, really? Because there wasn't much incisive play. And I think that would be difficult for any team. So in a bit of retrospect, I'm thinking maybe it was hard for Villa. There wasn't a huge amount of space to play with. They're having to show their tenacity and fight. And it was good to see, actually, on the back of some goals being shipped in the last few games, 11 in the last 3 games. It was good to see not just a clean sheet, but a real hard-working defensive performance as a team. I thought everyone actually played well as a team, other than probably Bailey. I know you might think I'm obvious to say that, but
No, I didn't think he did anything, to be fair. So, and I think he was sort of rightly subbed, and I think the subs obviously had a big impact. And yeah, we'll come on to one of the biggest impacts of one of the players in a second, definitely. Greg says he's the Nantes goalkeeper, top goalkeeper in every aspect, not at Emi level right now, but similar to how he was when he joined. Okay, but
I,
one
I,
to
I,
maybe
I, had
keep
a,
an eye on.
I had a look at him, Albin Lafont. He's played 61 games for Nantes, 65 on loan before that. So yeah, it looks like he's been quite established in the French league. Yeah, quite a lot of appearances. French under 21 international. So
We'll keep an eye on him. Cheers, Greg.
so it happens.
Belgian Villa said not the best performance, but a much needed win. Reminds me of the home win against Norwich last year when it wasn't the best performance, but a win was needed.
Yeah.
Yeah. Aaron wants McPhee gone. Yeah. Well, we'll see. We'll see. We didn't concede off a set piece this week. We didn't score off one. So yeah, I'm fair. I'm still with you there, I think. Ollie is getting better with his back to goal, says Andy. Hard working and playing with passion. I definitely agree.
Yeah.
And he's a great role model to other players. Get your work rate right, then the quality will come. Why was Buendia taking the ball though, knowing that Watkins was gearing for 5 in 5? Maybe he did it. I don't know. I didn't notice, but maybe he did it. You know how sometimes they've taken the ball to stop the players from crowding around him, and then they swap
Yeah.
the penalty taker. Maybe I don't
Or
know.
maybe fool the keeper. Maybe the keeper thinks someone else is going to take it, and
Yeah,
then
yeah. So yeah, Bailey wasn't happy, says Michael, when he came off, shook his head a lot. But obviously the player who replaced him, Emi Buendia, probably what was the move of the match, in terms of, like you've touched on there, ball into Watkins, laid off to McGinn. McGinn slips it into Buendia, little sort of drop of the shoulder. Cody's left standing there like a statue, and then just absolutely dispatched into the net. Yeah, great goal, and something that we've wanted to see from Emi Buendia for a while, to be fair.
Yeah, it was the only real moment, like move of quality in the match, really, wasn't it? I know actually for the penalty, Buendia did a nice little ball, didn't he? Like first time.
Yeah,
From I think the throw in came into him and he fed it into McGinn, didn't he? But the whole goal. I'm not sure who played it forward, but the great touch from Watkins, little driving run from McGinn, played it into Buendia. He turned Cody inside out and then just smashed it in the bottom corner. And yeah, it was what Villa do not do, which is get a second goal. Often, we got a second goal, we really put that game to bed. And I wouldn't say it was easy straight at the end, but it was a lot more comfortable than I thought it would be away at Goodison Park. With a few minutes to go.
yeah, I don't recall them having any chances really after that. And yeah, you go 2-0 up after, what was it, 81 minutes. When a team hasn't looked like scoring for the previous 80 minutes, they're not going to score 2 or 3 goals in the final 10, 15,
Yeah.
are they? So
Yeah.
yeah, it was pretty much game over, to be honest.
Yeah.
And Q scenes in the away end.
Yeah, it was brilliant, wasn't it? It was brilliant. And shout out to McGinn as well. I thought he I think he obviously technically got the assist, didn't he, for the penalty because he got fouled for, well, I don't know if he was fouled, but anyway. And obviously then got the assist for the what would ultimately was the icing on the cake. And I thought he actually played really well.
He got man of the match, didn't he, McGinn? And he got singled out. Him and Ramsey got singled out on Match of the Day for praise. And looking at it, in that terms of that analysis, that kind of box midfield, that 4 in midfield, really worked for us as the game went on, with kind of outnumbering Everton's 3, which was really pleasing to see. And it was good to see Ramsey kind of carrying the ball and getting back to those kind of dangerous runs, albeit he didn't necessarily have any sort of shots or threats in front of goal. It was good to see both of them kind of linking really well.
Yeah, I thought Ramsey actually, without being, sparkling like he has been, I thought Ramsey was way better than he has been, and it was good to see because he's in the team really for that energy, isn't he? He really is, and being able to progress the ball forward. So I thought actually they did really well, and it was really nice also to see players like we talk about. McGinn's had a lot of grief. Mings has had a lot of grief. Watkins has had a lot of grief. I'm not saying it hasn't been justified at times. It was nice to see some of those players that have been here for a bit actually perform. I thought they were probably the 3 best players for us on the day, arguably. And, I thought Mings, the stats about Mings in terms of his, he won all of his ground and aerial duels. Now, admittedly, it was against Neil Maupay. Well, I mean, maybe there was obviously, other players from, free kicks and stuff and corners, but that's what you want. You want McGinn doing what he should be doing, which is driving with the ball, showing that it's all well and good showing the heart. You want actually some contributions actually, in forward positions. And Watkins got his goal and played a part in the second goal as well. I don't think you can ask for much more, really.
Absolutely not. Loads of comments again coming in. T1 says, I want to see Duran next game, though. Understood why he didn't play in the hostile Everton game, but he should get some minutes against Palace. Yeah, different type of game. Hopefully we'll, and different situation in the game. So we'll see. We'll see. Rod says Leon can't complain. He had a poor game. He will be back, just not his day. Buendia was amazing. Greg says 2 goals in 2 weeks where you can see the Emery effect. Absolutely. It was, that goal against Arsenal and then the second goal against Everton. Yeah, you can really see really well-crafted goals, which is excellent and good fast play. Don't know why he wasn't doing anything. Needs a rest. Bailey does. Yeah, I agree. Michael says Bailey did nothing. Don't know why Buendia didn't start, but again, maybe doesn't have that impact off the bench. I think there's a question mark over that some of our players that are always great off the bench or have an impact off the bench, and it is important. It is important to use your bench. So, but yeah, I do think he deserves his start on Saturday, certainly, if obviously injury permitting.
Yeah, I actually think Buendia has generally been better off the bench, though. I think he has.
Yeah, I know. That's the thing.
Yeah. And Coutinho's best moments, I think, have been when he's come off in little glimpses on the bench. That is a problem for us not having these players that can impact the game from the start.
Yeah. And Michael saying Bailey will be a bench player next season. Yeah, agreed.
Well, I mean, let's see what happens to Bailey, but I think that it's just another underwhelming performance. I don't think away from home he really has offered anything. And
no, he hasn't scored a goal away from home.
Yeah, he's had moments at home, hasn't he? But it's just those moments of quality and class that we've seen from him are really few and far between. And the problem with Bailey now, he's becoming a bit of a liability. It's effectively like you've got 10 players out there.
Yeah,
it's not good. And look, I don't think he's got his confidence, and he needs. I think he needs a couple of games out, and let's see how he comes off the bench.
Yeah. Andy says Guinea encouraging signs over the last 2 games. Totally agree. Yeah. Rich said gutted for Coutinho just when he starts to look like he was finding a bit of form. Yeah, he's out for a month or so. Luckily, we've got the international break, so maybe that kind of helps there. Nico Williams and Guendouzi next year straight into the team, 100%. But there's been rumours Marcus Thuram is the one that we want up front as well, so we'll see about that. I think McGinn really suits Emery's system, says Ian. Totally agree. And then Timon says Bailey's Kev's best friend. But we've been fairly easy on him because, like I say, he just didn't really do anything to warrant any praise or criticism. To be honest, he didn't really do anything. Quick look at the statistics. Again, while I'm just getting the screen, please do make sure you leave a like on the video, and please. Why is this not working? Please do subscribe to the channel. No, forget that. I can't get it on the screen. I'm using a different computer at the moment, so I'll run them through with you. Villa 53.5% possession against Everton's 46.5%. 5 shots on target for each team. 15 shots that Everton had against our 9. We had a lot more touches of the ball, 629 and 433 passes. 27 clearances we had. They had 5 corners. We had 1. 1 yellow card for us, which was Martinez's customary one, and they had 2. So yeah, I think it was just a solid away performance, Kev, to be honest with you. Nothing really stands out in terms of statistics for me. I think Everton would be quite disappointed with that many shots and not making any of them really count or tell as such. But yeah, solid away performance on the whole, mate.
Yeah, I don't think they really can grumble too much. I think they technically had a bit more possession, but they didn't do much with it. There was obviously the header. There was the one of Konza's behind that bounce that probably Maupay should have done a bit better with, but really they didn't do much. It's a game that Villa do not win usually. They're a game like that in a scrappy game, and we seem to be getting pretty good at doing that. It wasn't particularly great at times against Spurs. Brighton wasn't great at times. The Spurs game, again, moments of quality won that game. That Luiz goal was absolutely beautiful. Brighton, obviously, Ings stepped up on the day, didn't he, and got a couple of goals. And Against Southampton, Watkins doing what he hasn't often done enough, which is nick a winner in a game where particularly it could have gone either way. And again today, it's scrapping out these games that we're actually been pretty good at. The problem we've got is when we play at home against teams like Palace upcoming, where we're expected to have a bit more of the ball and play with it, that we don't seem to do a very good job. So I'm expecting a much better home performance in the next game against Palace.
Well, Emery seems determined, and Duncan there says all 3 March fixtures are winnable, would give us 40 points. So yeah, absolutely, I totally agree. And we got over 30 points this weekend, 31 points now sitting on. So another win on Saturday puts us 34, and then we are definitely sort of more looking up the table than worrying about anything behind us. So yeah, let's hope it continues. Quick little bit of news on Emi Martinez. As I say, the news came through as we were kind of setting up the show. But yeah, been voted at the, I'm not sure what awards it is. Is it FIFA awards or World Football Awards? But has been nominated as the world's best goalkeeper, which is phenomenal for us to say that we've got that goalkeeper.
Yeah, it's the 2022 Best FIFA Awards, it's called.
Okay.
And I mean, absolutely fantastic. Can you believe that Aston Villa? Let's not forget, Villa fans, right? We've had in recent years Mark Bunn in goal. We've had Gabor Kiraly. We've had some goalies, haven't we, over the years? Stefan Posma, Peter Enkelman.
Yeah.
I know Guzan had his moments in a few games, penalty saving, but I don't think he was particularly great for us.
What was the name of the keeper we had in the Sheffield United game? And the ghost goal. What was his name again?
Oh, Nyland.
Yeah.
William Nyland. Lovric Kalinic.
Kalinic, bloody hell.
Yeah, we've had some of these goalies, and then remember Galini played for us. He was like Galini. So anyway, I mean, sorry, I bet people are switching off in the hundreds now, aren't they? They've had enough of this nightmares. To have a goalkeeper that plays for us, not only is a decent goalie, but has won the World Cup and voted the FIFA best goalie in the world, playing for Aston Villa, is incredible. Absolute huge congratulations to him. I know he's been a bit of a Marmite character lately with some of his antics, but
I wonder what he did with the trophy this time when he won.
Probably stuck at his bottom, didn't he? No, I hope he had a little bit more class this time around. But look, it's another great fillip for Aston Villa as a club to have a player that plays for us that has won that award. It's absolutely magnificent, and it just does more to put us on the map, doesn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Duncan does say we have a long tradition of good goalkeepers: Rimmer, Spink, Bosnich, Sorensen, Schmeichel, Friedel, and Emi. So there's a few good ones there sprinkled.
There is not so much in recent years. Not so much in recent years.
No, absolutely not. And then obviously we want to do a big shout out as well to the Villa women's team who made it to the quarterfinals of the FA Cup with a dramatic penalty shootout victory against West Ham yesterday, Kev.
Yeah, absolutely fantastic again. I mean, the Villa's women march on. I think it was 7-6 on penalties. I think Hannah Hampton, the goalie, got the winning penalty, I think.
Wow.
I didn't get to watch it, or I haven't seen any highlights. But yeah, it was. I mean, to get through to the knockout stages, well, the business end of the knockout stages of that tournament is fantastic. So yeah, brilliant. And
I think Rachel Daly got another goal, didn't she?
Rachel Daly's becoming the most reliable Mark's woman in the league, isn't she?
It's mad the like the record that she's on with Villa, but it just shows like kind of the quality that they've got in the team now. And I know you mentioned today how much we're kind of moving up the league and 5th position and going into games expecting to win now and stuff like that. So it's great. And obviously quarterfinals of the cup. I want to see if has the draw been made yet?
I don't know if it has yet. I don't know if it has.
Let's just have a look. To see.
Oh, it has been made. Yeah, I'll tell you who we've got. We've got Man City at home. Good luck.
Okay.
Good luck. Well, we did beat him. We beat him at home in the first league game of the season.
Yeah.
And we're only 2 positions behind him. Admittedly 9 points, but it's a one-off game. It's at home. So come on, ladies, let's do it.
Absolutely. So, yeah, Man City, because didn't they beat them? They beat them Was it the first
4-3.
game of this season they beat him 4-3?
First game of this season.
And then drew 1-1.
Yeah, Daly's debut. Actually, the 1-1 was a great performance. So taking 4 points off in this season. So I think Villa will go into that with a bit of confidence. I mean, look at the other players. Kirsty Hansen, Kenza Darley, obviously Jordan Nobbs is signed. You know, we've got a right good team. You know, Alicia Lehman. So there's some really good players there. So I think they'll be hoping to imagine that. Imagine if we won a bit of silverware. It'd be fantastic.
Yeah. Well, Everton women next away. So if they can match what Villa men's team did at Everton away, they'll be smashing it. So
well, it's a big game.
Currently in 5th position, 20 points. Everton are in 6th position on 19 points. So quite a big game because there's a gap to Arsenal women in 4th. They're on 26 points. So yeah, Villa women want to kind of, if they want to get into that break into that top 4, they need win. You know, they obviously need wins and for 1 or 2 teams to slip up, but to be talk about being in 5th position is great, isn't it? You know, especially the last couple of years where they've just about managed to stay up. So
yeah, and you can get a bit of daylight between Everton and yourselves. That'd be great. I hope Arsenal don't get a result against Liverpool, and then hey, who knows? But look, whatever happens, season stops now, and they don't win another game. It's been a brilliant season. So yeah, credit to them. I think they're real credit to the club.
Yeah. Absolutely. Michael says, yeah, congratulations to Villa win. Please get down and support them. Favourite player is Kenza Darley. And yeah, we've given her so many plaudits. She's just done brilliant. And yeah, Rachel Daly's top notch. Kev, great having you on, mate. Just a quick, short and sweet one tonight. We will be back tomorrow with Talking Tactics show with Gareth. So that'll be out at some point tomorrow. So please look out for that. Talking about a win as well. But yeah, interesting, I'm sure, as always with Gareth in terms of tactically breaking it down, looking at the data, looking at kind of the XG and the player influence and seeing, you know, what works for us against Everton that we can take into the next game. So please do look out for that. As I said before, please do like the video and please do subscribe to the channel. Help us continue to grow. As I say, we've passed the 1,000 mark. We want to keep going. And yeah, we will be back later on in the week as well for a match preview show for Crystal Palace coming up at home. Once again, thank you for everyone for joining us on the show. It's been a pleasure. And as always, please all remember, we all follow the Villa. Thanks, everyone. Take care.